Hello there ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another video. Now in this one we're going to be configuring Rofi. So Rofi is basically a run launcher. So if you're using a window manager instead of like a full-fledged desktop environment, you won't have like a start menu at the top. So to launch stuff like VirtualBox or whatever, you would need to use something like Rofi or dmenu. And in this case we'll be using Rofi, and I'll be showing you guys how to configure it to look nice like this. Now the reason it's kind of like slanted over to the right side of the screen is actually because my monitor is ultra wide, so there's actually a bit of stuff after this and I'm recording in like a format that YouTube supports, so that's why it looks a bit squashed, but this actually is like directly in the middle of the screen. So now the first thing we're going to do is we're going to set up a config. So to do this, what you're going to do is make dir p.config and then Rofi. So this is where our configuration file will be. And to create the configuration file, we can use Rofi dump config. So this will be like kind of the default config, and we can dump it into .config Rofi, and then it will be config RSA. So I'm not going to dump that, because I already have a config here, so I'm just going to Control-C that, and we'll take a look at the config. So if you open it in Sublime Text, the formatting to be C, so that way you can have like proper highlighting. So anyway, first thing, to actually run Rofi, you would do a command like this. So I'm using the combi mode in this example. So this actually doesn't matter since we won't be using that, but I will, or you can change it to run anyway. Now the width is the width of the window. So from here to here, it's like 40 characters. If we change it to say like 20 or whatever, it'll be very small, like so. Or like 40. Lines, you can leave this whatever you want, because this will be changed inside your theme anyway, so that doesn't matter. Show icons, set that to true, because this will basically show the icons of all the different programs and looks pretty nice. And then icon theme, set it to Papyrus, whichever one you want. This is kind of the default one, and I like how the default one looks. Now for the combi mode, we can use we'll use drun and run. So if you actually run Rofi here, you can see all the different kind of options that you can use. Window, basically you can target different windows. I'm not really a fan of that. And SSH, you can like do some stuff with SSH. You can run like SSH scripts. I don't need that as well, so I'm just using the drun and the run. Now drun is handy because it shows the icons, run doesn't, but with run what you can do is like you can run scripts. With drun it doesn't seem like you can, so that's why I use two of them. Like if you type something like Firefox, you'll get an option for Firefox with both drun and run. And so yeah, run just kind of gives you a little bit more options in terms of like running scripts as well, so put that in at the bottom. And then next thing is theme. We'll leave that for now, but you could set whatever theme you want. So for example, one of the default themes is Arthur, so if you set that, it will look like this, and this is basically what I customized my theme from, and that's what we'll be doing in this video as well. So you can set that to Arthur for now, and then later on I'll show you how to customize the themes. Alright, then all this color stuff, that's set inside the theme, so we don't really need that. The max history size, you can actually set that to something a little bit higher, so like 50 or something. I kind of like that, so it remembers what you run last, and then they'll put it at the top of the screen, like so, because I often run Sublime. It's always at the top of the screen, so that's handy. If you're using the window mode, you can use thumbnails. And then if we scroll down to the bottom, yeah, so I didn't change anything after that, so that's all that you need. Alright, so for the themes, to check all the themes, you can do Rofi theme selector, I think. Yeah, so this will bring up Rofi again, and then you can like go down, then press enter to look at the different themes, like so. So there's like a bunch of ones, there's even a D menu one. Yeah, so my favorite one is the Altrøx one. And so what we're gonna do now is copy a theme. So if we look inside here, we can see all the different default themes. So what we want to do is CP themes, and then in this case Altrøx, and we want to copy them into config Rofi, and then whatever theme name you want. So in this case I'll just call it test Altrøx dot Rasi, like so. Then we can open the theme in our editor. So that's how it looks like. Change the formatting to display CSS, because this is essentially like a kind of modified CSS file. So that way it will look better. And then inside your config for the theme, just change it to test Altrøx, like so, and then when we run it, it looks like this. So now the first thing I'm gonna do is change the font. So if we go down, I'm gonna change this to Fira code, and then I'm gonna do like size of 20 so that it's more visible. I'll actually go a little bit higher, 25. Yeah, so there we go, that looks nice. So within the theme you have kind of three separate things. You have the input bar, you have the message, and you have the list view. So the input bar is this. The message is when you try and run something and you get an error, a message will come up. And then the list view is all of this here. So really we're only going to focus on the input bar and then the list view. So let's go down to the input bar, and we can select whatever color we want. So in this case let's select red, so that'll be FF0000. So we save that. As you can see, it's all red, it looks nice. And I am gonna comment this out since I want to use the same font for all of them for the whole thing. So here for the background, we can change this to whatever we want. And let me just check how I did it here. Background color, white, black. Yeah, so this has a transparency with it. So the first bits are like red, green, and then the last bits are transparent. So what I'm gonna do is I am going to make this fairly transparent. So F0, 0, 0, 0, and then yeah, so the last two bits would be for the transparency. So in this case I am going to go let's say 50. Let's see how that looks like. Yeah, that looks pretty transparent. I'll actually increase this to probably F. Okay, it's still a little bit transparent, but a bit too much. So let's go with 9. And yeah, that looks good. And then for this one, I might actually change it to black. Let's see how that looks like. Yeah, that looks pretty good, I think. So we'll go with like a black and red kind of theme. So for the border color, we can also use this same thing, so that way it will look nicer. And it doesn't support transparent, so actually I'm gonna do a black border as well. So that's 1, 2, all right. So, all right, so let's move on to the list view. And border color will do the same. And then background color will do the same as well. And then this is where you can change your lines. So for example, right now it is 10 lines. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So I'll change that to 15. And there you go, it looks a little bit nicer. And yeah, so that's kind of it. We can play with the border later on. So element is so whatever is highlighted. So if we change element selected, it's actually this one that we need to change. So in this one, I actually want to change the color of it to say orange or something. So let's go with FF00. See how that looks like. Hang on. Oh yeah, forgot to set the color. Alright, so that's actually yellow. So I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna fire up Firefox. I'm going to go into some color picker. So what we really want is HTML color picker. And this is kind of a bad one. Let's try the second one. Yeah, so this is a much nicer one. So I want like this kind of one. What the hell? Can I not copy it from here? Alright, whatever. We can just do it here. So this is F29 307. So save that. And there you go. So now as you can see, the highlighted is orange. And for the background color, we want like kind of darker red. So maybe like this one. Let's do DF 27, like so. And there you go. So I think that looks kind of nice. Now, so here we can set for the element, we can reduce the padding to 0, list view padding to 0, and let's see how that looks like. Yeah, so that looks alright. So now all of them are like at the very start, if you know what I mean. And so yeah, you can play around this. There's actually you can do a margin as well, I'm pretty sure. So if I go into my one here, oh no, I just did it as like, oh yeah, margin, so you can do that. Okay, so we can actually do that here as margin, and then I think this goes by left. So left we can do like 5 pixels. Then I think it's like down, up, and then right. So right we can do another 5 pixels. And oh no, that kind of messed it up. So let's see, which one was it? Probably this one. Okay, so it's actually this one. That's, so this might be left. Let's try that. Oh shit. Alright, so this actually like shifts the list view itself. Alright, never mind. So leave that as 0 or just take it out completely. So I think it's actually the element that we would want. So 0 or 5px, 0px, 0px, and 0px. No, that might be the top. I'll just keep on changing these until we get what we want. Okay, so that's left for some reason. So this must be like top or something. So yeah, anyway. That's kind of what we wanted. And then maybe here on the right as well. So this is probably right. Yeah, that's right. Okay, so yeah, as you can see here. Now this thing is like not all the way to the end, and we can decrease the border radius to 0, so that's like a nice flat line, or you can increase it to like a massive border radius, so like 20, so it looks something like this. And then the list view, we can actually do a margin. Oops. So what I want to do now is grab a margin top of 5px, so I think that's the top one, and then the rest can be 0. Yeah, so as you can see, it looks pretty nice. It's like nicely separated. And the border for the top, we can do a 2px here as well. So now as you can see, it's like nicely like that. For the input, let's go here, input bar, we can do a border radius of 15px all over the place, and we can set a padding, we can just say, yeah, set a padding of 0. So now you can see it's like nicely rounded. And then for the list view, we can also round them up like so. So yeah, now it's all nicely rounded, and actually don't really like this right now. So for the element, we can get rid of this. And for the list view, let's see. Now, where's the padding? Alright, so maybe if we get rid of all of this. Yeah, so there we go. It's all like nicely there, and I'll actually do a padding of 0px, 0px, and I only want the left, so 5px here. So now it's like the text here is like nicely shifted over. And I suppose since it's kind of sticking out here a little bit, not really actually, so it's actually fine. So yeah, we'd want 5px here as well, I think. Yeah, so that's kind of how you make it. For the combi or the int bar, I would actually want a padding of 5px here, so it's like a little bit nicer looking. And so yeah, that's kind of how you would do it. Looks pretty cool. Oh yeah, and also the color of this list view, we can set it, or it's the element actually. Yeah, so the color right now is foreground. Well, we can set it to black, so that'll be 0 0 0 0 0 0. And there we go. So that's looking very nice. And instead of 0 0, we can actually do, I don't know, 2 2 2 2 2. So it's like a little bit gray. Yeah, so that looks nicer, I think. And then for the input bar, we might do a margin of 0px, 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 and then for last one, we'll do 5px, so it's like aligned with our... Alright, never mind. So that's actually, I think it's actually the prompt. So this is almost all done, except I just wanna do that, and I wanna do 5px for the left. Yeah, so now it's like more aligned. Let's do like 20px, I think that'll get us there. Okay, so a little bit more, so like 25, I think. Or actually maybe 30. Alright, there we go. So now you can see the combi is like aligned with this here. So I think that looks pretty good. So you can run like whatever scripts you want. You can run VirtualBox and that kind of good stuff. So yeah, that's kind of how you would set it up. I don't really like the background color at the moment, so I might actually switch it over. Where was this? Oh yeah, input bar, background color. Yeah, let's choose like a nicer background color, like this one, let's say. So E82 C2C. Let's see how that looks like. Yeah, that looks a little bit nicer. So we'll copy that and set it for the list view as well. Background color. And yeah, that looks nicer. For this one, we might actually want to increase the opacity by a little bit. Let's go with F, see how that looks like. A little bit too strong, let's go with D. Yeah, that looks pretty good. So up here we'll change it to D as well. Yeah, so that looks pretty good. And so yeah, that's how you change a theme, and then it's kind of the same process with any other themes that you use as your baseline. So yeah, that's it. Thanks for watching, and bye bye.